captives chained with broken strings and worn out souls. Heels of gold and some with wings. Some are old, some undersold. To grow we need to rely on and try on some other people's shoes. Some other people's shoes.
Welcome into Other People's Shoes. Of course, you know I'm your host, Neil Matthews. Thank you for joining us today in this brand new year. We're so excited, and of course, I'm excited because it's 2020. So maybe it's time we take a look at our vision, take a look at who we are as our identity, and of course, anytime you begin any great journey in life, you of course have to consider the cost, right? So today I sit with an amazing couple. I love sitting with couples because I get both perspectives. It's so great. So help me welcome in my good friends, Jonni and Fahamu. And Fahamu, if you don't mind, could you spell your name for me?
Fahamu.
Okay. Yeah, I would have failed that on a spelling test. Like if I would have saw that on a spelling test back as a child, I would have been like, 3 times each is not going to go down well with that name. I joke, but you have a wonderful name. What does it mean?
It means wisdom or knowledge.
Wisdom or knowledge. And we're going to have some of that today, I just feel like. I don't know. And Jonni, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having us. We're excited.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that a little bit. Like Fahamu's excitement level is through the roof right now, I think, maybe. Okay. So guys, I always like to lead off every show with what size shoes do you wear? So it sounds kind of weird to think about, but we're in your shoes. We're trying to not literally get in your shoes because that would be weird and maybe a little impersonal, but figuratively speaking, we're in your shoes today. So, Jonni, you first. What size shoes do you wear?
I wear 11 in women.
Wow. Yeah. I'm just going to let that sit on the table. Wow, an 11 in women. Okay. Well, I wear a 12 in women. There's a story behind that.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I bought some discounted Adidas one time, and I was so excited. Elizabeth was with me, and I was so excited. I took them up to the register, and the worker politely said to me, "Oh, your wife will love these." It's like, my wife, I'm wearing these. They're 12s. And she goes, "Sir, they're 12 in women's." I'm like,
Actually, me and Faham have the same size feet.
That's great. So you guys can interchange shoes.
Yep.
So you're wearing her. Never mind. Okay. Going down the road at not going there. Sorry. So do you have a certain brand that you like? Or you're probably not a brand snob. You don't strike me as a brand
cheap,
snob.
whatever's cheapest.
Okay. That's okay.
So,
Yeah.
but I like Birkenstocks,
Okay.
and they're not cheap.
So do you, if you were having your shoe of choice, it would be Birkenstocks?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're in 11 women's Birkenstocks. Fahamu, save us from that, please, because I don't want to wear Birkenstocks.
I wear 9.5.
Okay.
American size.
9.5. Okay. And then same question. Do you have a certain brand that you know?
I don't care about those.
You're like, this doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm a brand snob, so sorry about that. I'm wearing my Vans today, so there we are. That's what I'm wearing as well. So guys, I'm curious about this because I'm fascinated. Jonni, you grew up in the United States.
Yes.
In Oregon.
Yes.
Specifically like Medford, Rogue Valley, right? So you're a Rogue Valley kid.
I am.
All right.
I am.
And Fahamu, you did not grow up in the Rogue Valley. You're not a Rogue Valley kid. Where did you grow up, Fahamu?
I was born in the Congo, and I grown up in the Congo too.
Yeah, in the Congo.
Yeah.
So help us geographically, for those geographically challenged. I am not. I know where the Congo is. I looked at it on the map. I've seen the Congo on the map, but where is the Congo?
Congo is in Central Africa. If you look on the map, it's the second largest country in Africa. So it's just between Burundi and Rwanda, South Sudan. If you look those countries, you will just see Congo. But in Africa, we have 2 countries called Congo. There is Congo Kinshasa, that's where Republic Democratic of Congo, and there is Congo called Congo Brazzaville. So if you are not careful, you can think it's one country, but
Well,
it's two countries.
I appreciate that because I actually always thought it was just one country, but now you're correcting me, which is okay. It's okay to correct me, especially when it comes to geography. I'm first to raise my hand. I'm not the geographically challenged student. Well, I am a geographically challenged student. So that's awesome.
Yes.
And so now it begs the question: how the heck did you kids meet?
Well, I was on a mission trip. I was leading a team to Rwanda, and Faham happened to be our translator.
Uh-oh.
He wasn't supposed to even be there because it was around Christmas,
Okay.
but the base leader asked if he could stay. And so me and my other co-leader, we brought a team there. And I wasn't even actually supposed to be on that team. I was supposed to go somewhere else in Europe, but we didn't have enough kids. So they put me on the Rwanda team. So he was our translator. And we just, within a month, we knew that we were supposed to be together.
Are you kidding
That's
me?
the short
That's
version.
the shortest version, probably.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's like a Hallmark movie that could
really
probably
is.
be made.
I think so.
Okay. I'm glad you get that reference because it's a great
Yeah.
segue. But so what, Fahamu, I got to ask because I'm dying to know, what about Jonni just immediately attracted you or you were so intrigued by this Rogue Valley, girl?
Actually, they came and they stayed in 1 month, but we did not have that. We was not closer to each other until the last time that God spoke to both of us, and that's when we act into that, and then we just say, okay, let's give it a shot and let God's timing come. And I found she was so amazing, and she loved God and the wisdom and that she has, and the passion that she has, and so it was perfect decision I could have ever made.
That might be the most romantic thing I've ever heard in a while, at least. That's powerful, man. I love that.
Thanks.
I really do. I love it. I love the energy now that's coming off of it. The excitement in your eyes, and obviously that doesn't sometimes translate into audio. But guys, I'm telling you, he's beaming right now, and he's talking about his bride, and that's awesome. So, you guys, is it a long distance thing, or how long till? Because I know you guys get married on October 19th, right, 2013. So, how long do you guys meet and then get married? How long is that transition?
We met in December 2012 and then started dating, I guess, January 2013. And then we only were together like a day before I had to leave to Uganda. And then he came and visited for 5 days. Mm-hmm. And then I flew back to the States for 8 months. And then I flew to the Congo, and 10 days later we got married.
Jonni, I'm a dad.
I know.
Okay, I have a 12-year-old. You know my daughter. If you came home from a missions trip and said, Dad, I met this amazing man, Fahamu, first I would be like, what? Let's face it. I don't mean to disrespect your name by any means, but it's not a name I normally would hear in, U.S., obviously U.S. circles, or, it's not like it's probably not in the top 10 list of things you name your kid, right? Again, not being disrespectful to your name. It's a gorgeous name. But I would look at you and I would think, and how old are you at this point?
26?
Okay.
25, 26.
Okay, so you're not like 18.
No.
Not 17.
No.
Because you have kiddos too, and so I'm thinking you're a mom too, you're a dad too. That you come home and you say this, Dad, Mom, I met this amazing man of God, and we're gonna get married.
Yeah, I think because I didn't date a lot, and so my parents trusted my decisions, and they knew it was from God. I think if it would have been like, I just met him and he doesn't love the Lord, I think they'd been like,
He's in a rock band. He
Yeah.
has tattoos.
Yeah. My mom actually was worried about his teeth. She's like, does he have nice teeth? And I said, yeah.
You do have nice teeth. By the way.
She was just like, because, some people over there don't have nice teeth. I was like, he has nice teeth, Mom.
I checked him out. I'm not a dentist, but
Yeah,
they seem like he brushes well.
yeah, he didn't have any cavities when he went to the dentist for the first time.
That's great. Yeah. That's reason to celebrate for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, so, I think my parents got me and they
Yeah.
understood my
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah.
But I think it was very hard for them because they didn't meet him until a year after we were married.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What was that like, meeting her mom and dad for the first time?
It was really great. I can say it was amazing,
Yeah.
and I did not have a lot of expectation because I always want to have expectation on the ground, and I was really well received, and I fitted in that family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, guys, that's awesome. So, so I'm curious. So obviously, the family impact. Your family seems like he received him well, and your family received her well as well. Yeah. Okay. So, do you remember meeting his parents for the first time, Jonni? And what was that like?
Yeah. A lot of them don't speak English very well. They
Okay.
try.
Right.
And I, of course, don't speak Swahili or French.
And that's what I was just going to ask. So, what's the native language of the Congo where you're at?
Well, his family speaks a lot of languages, but their tribal language is called Kongwa. Right.
Fuliru.
Fuliu. Sorry, Kongwa's thing.
Say it again, a little closer. To
Fuliru language.
How? I've never even heard that either. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
Is it like a slang or is it like a?
dialect?
It's a dialect. Okay. Okay. So it's not something they teach in school, or it is something they would teach in school.
So because Congo has many languages and many tribes, and I think we have more than 200 dialects that are spoken in Congo. So, but we have 5 national languages that they do teach in the schools, which is French, Lingala, Swahili, Kiluba, and the Kikongo.
Wow.
But in each tribe, because my dad worked on Bible translation, so there was encouraging parents in our area, in our Fuliru tribe, to start teach a little bit of Fuliru program in the schools.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So you're going over there, like, how am I going to talk to my new in-laws?
yeah, and his
right?
dad can read and write English. So he understands English, but he's getting a lot better at speaking. But at first, and I talk fast, so I had to learn to talk slower because he couldn't understand if I spoke too quickly. But it was kind of hard because Fahamu was like my only outlet to talk to people. And I'm not a language person. Language is very tough for me. So it was kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were your parents excited to meet Jonni? Do you remember? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, everyone was excited. My parents, my brothers, and my sisters.
So how many do you have in your family?
8.
So what number are you in the line of that?
The 3rd.
You're the 3rd. Okay. All right. So they're pretty excited. They're like, hey,
Yep.
welcome our open arms. That's awesome. So Jonni, back here in the States, what are your friends thinking?
They were nervous that he was just marrying me to come to the States.
Ooh.
I think a lot of people thought, oh, he's just going to come and marry you so he can become a citizen. But then once we stayed there, they realized, oh, I think this is more real than not. It was hard because I think a lot of people doubted it. Of course, my family didn't, but like some friends were like, are you sure? Is this what you really want? Are you sure God's calling you there?
How did those conversations go with your friends specifically? Do you remember?
Well, a lot of my friends, they are Christians, so they said, as long as it's God telling you to go. But I think they were worried because I had never been to Congo, and you only see stuff on the news, and you know the history, so it is kind of scary. But I think they were just worried for my safety, but at the same time, since they didn't know Faham, they were like, can we trust him? But once they met him, they were like, oh, you're safe, you're fine there. They felt better once they met him. So I think if he could have come over before we got married and everyone could have met him, I think conversations would have been a lot different. But I think because they hadn't met him, they didn't know how much he loved me and how much he would protect me. So
Yeah, and you mentioned that, like things we see on the news, right? So, and that's what I'm curious about. You've been in the States, off and on throughout. How long? And we could do the math here. 2013, you guys get married, so a little bit of time now has passed since then, obviously. But how much is real that we see on the news, and how much is not real? Do you believe?
So Mostly on the news, you just see the bad stuff, but they don't show the good stuff. And Congo itself is a huge country. And just let's say in my South province can be 4 times bigger than Rwanda and Burundi. So it's really huge country. But they focus just on a little place where it's a war zone or something not going well, like a crisis of Ebola, which when was in Congo.
Oh yeah.
They put all this like the whole Congo, but it's just tiny part of.
But they made it sound like
Yeah.
it was everywhere, just rampant in the Congo. Like everyone's getting Ebola. You know, you know, everyone has it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's what the most is untrusted in the media somehow. And they just show on bad side what they want people to see, international to see. And sometimes it's just to discourage people to go over there and look what is happening. But once you get there, you get a different picture, completely different picture.
Yeah, I think that's true about most things, right? When we look at one thing, right? And that's why I love doing this show so much, is because we always think we have this like just view of something, right? But when we really get into someone's shoes, you know, we really do kind of get this perspective that we talk about so often. And so I love what you were saying there as far as that goes, about really getting on the ground and really seeing really what's happening, rather than just, oh, well, I'm just going to take it at face value. And that's really what's happening when it may not be the reality, right?
Yeah.
So what was your first impression of America? I'm dying to know this. Like the first time you came to the States, do you remember that moment of getting off the plane and like being a part of things here in the U.S.? It's okay. You can tell us. We can handle it. I know it. I can see it in your eyes. You're like, do I say this? Do I not?
I did not, because even in my life, I don't want to project things, how things will be, and how, no, I want to see it when I'm on ground myself and what to see. But it's different culture in Africa and in America. But America, it's a developed country compared to many countries in Africa, and that's a difference which I saw. And society, and we have a differences sometimes in a spiritual life or the spiritual view, the way we look there, and sometimes what I found here. But it was good to see the different side of the world and how people are going there and are doing here. And all the time I do think, how can I make this happen in Africa? But I may have a little bit to contribute to my country, but not as a lot, because I'm not the head of the state. But there is a lot I'm learning here that I'm teaching over there. And yeah, because I just like to change, to see the changes and to see the development in people's lives. So yeah, that's.
What's the craziest thing you experienced in the U.S. so far?
I don't think there is any crazy things I experienced.
Okay, all right. Just wondering.
Yep.
Yeah. Any like food or anything like that you're like, whoa, we don't have that in the Congo or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Because I've been.
I'm thinking like chicken nuggets, right? I mean, that's to me kind of crazy.
I think
thing.
like fast food.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Like, because there's probably not a McDonald's on every corner or a Starbucks on every corner.
No.
So
right?
McDonald's is just like in South Africa and other place. But I don't look into those details a lot.
All right. No, that's all right.
They did not take me a lot of
Like
time.
buildings or anything like that? Nothing you see there like, whoa, that's crazy, or nothing like that?
I did not look into that picture, that perspective, because I just trying to put everything just in a normal and not.
Well, maybe like prices of stuff, because
I was just
there were
gonna ask
things
that
like
too.
we would go and get like lotion. And he's like, what? It's this much? I said, yeah, it's this much.
Costco, I'm thinking even like, no, that isn't.
So the pricing, yeah, thank you for reminding me. That's only
She's good like
difference.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only difference and issue that I see how people are living, how it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Like her car took the car to fix, the car cost like 1,000, but in Africa it cannot cost that much. And we have a car there to take it. If it spend a lot of money, it's like 300, and they change all the transmission.
Yeah.
But here, and that's the only thing that I see the difference. But
Yeah.
you find here as well, it's a better quality than there. Here it can last for many years, but they have to change it for like each 3 months or each 1 month. You have to change, and
Wow.
that's the difference. And yeah, so and most of the stuff here are original, I can say. But most of the stuff we got in Africa, it's from China, and sometimes you can use it like even in 1 day, something broke. So
Wow. So Johnny, how about you? Your first impression of going to the Congo, right?
Yeah.
So after you go back, because you guys have this, start of the relationship, and then, you get married. You get married in the Congo, right?
Yes, we got married in the Congo.
which is crazy.
Yeah, I came in and it was nighttime. So when we came over the border, it was just getting dark. So I didn't get to see really the Congo until the next morning. And it is beautiful. I mean,
Like, what's your first impression? Can you describe it for us?
well, it had huge mountains. And I thought, you think Africa, flat, dry. And we're right on the lake. And it kind of reminds me of home. Like, it reminds me of here. Like, you look around in Oregon and you see mountains, you see green. And so I was like, oh, like, this is really nice because it doesn't make me miss home as much. But it's very, you can tell it's like the roads, huge holes, like potholes in the roads. These little motorbikes going in and out of traffic, people honking. It's loud, but it's colorful. It's just completely different. And it's either muddy or dry. It's crazy. Like, you see a moto and it has guys holding 2 goats. He has 5 chickens hanging from the handlebars. And you're like, that's not safe. You can't do that. Or like talking on the phone as they're driving. You're like, oh, that's illegal. Or they don't have seatbelts on. You're like, oh, put your seatbelt on. Or a mom had her baby wrapped around her, holding on, riding a motorcycle.
Just like with a a cloth
wrap.
or
Yeah.
something.
And you're like, oh,
That's
you can't do that. But it's not America, so they can do those things.
right.
And it's crazy.
Do you remember like eating food for the first time over there, and what was that experience like?
Well, I'm not a huge fan of the food there. They had these little fish. What are they called?
Dagala.
Yeah, that. And his family made this beautiful setting. And I felt like I had to eat everything because it's his family.
And
so,
you're the wife now.
yeah, so
I don't want to
ate.
offend.
I ate and ate. And it's not the best. His family does a really good job of like making French fries for me and things that I like now. But at first they just made this big meal and I ate it. And as we're going home, I'm like, Faham, I don't like that. He's like, it's okay. You don't have to eat it again. So now they know. But like there, when you're a guest, the insides of an animal, so like the heart, the stomach, the intestines, that's what you're supposed to eat. Like it's a treat because you're the guest. And I looked at Faham and I'm like, nope, no, I'm not doing this.
This Oregon girl's out.
Yeah. So now when we go places, they'll serve us, and I just put it on Faham's plate when they're not looking. I'm like, here, eat this. Or they know, if we go to villages, they know she doesn't like that. We'll give her something else. And
Yeah.
they give it to Faham.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'm curious about this too. Johnny, you're white.
I am.
Faham, obviously, you're African American by all accounts. I mean, you're. I know you're not an American citizen yet, but you're working on that. But is there any ever racial stuff that comes into play in your guys' relationship, either here in the States or even over there?
No, I stand out more over there because I am one of the only white people in our town. So I think there's a presumption that like we have a ton of money and like
Oh,
they call
I
us
hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, they call us Mzungus, which means like white. So you walk down the street, Mzungu, Mzungu, and you wave and they laugh. They think it's so funny. So sometimes it's like you can't just go for a walk and have a peaceful walk because everyone's like Mzungu, and they get So excited to see you.
Because there's not a lot of white people in the Congo, right?
Right.
I would
Yeah,
imagine.
some part there is and some other part there is not. Maybe it's just organization, international organization, that
Yeah.
when you can see them and they barely connect with the local people as being a missionary. Missionary, they connect with the local people more, but international organization, they don't care. They just do what they want and they don't get connection with the local people.
That's fascinating to me too, because I think, especially here in the U.S., I think there's still not as much anymore, but I still think there is a little bit of a stigma between interracial relations, even in the United States. I mean, like, I remember growing up, in the 80s, early 90s, where, people were like, "Oh, you're dating a black man. Oh, that can't happen. Oh, you're white and you're dating a black woman. That wasn't ever really, that was almost like a faux pas. I don't know if you experienced that, Johnny, but that was kind of my experience. So I'm glad in Africa we don't see color.
Yeah.
I think that's fascinating, by the way.
I was nervous coming home because some of my family members are older. So I was like, oh, I'm kind of nervous, but we've been welcomed with open arms. No one has said anything. And even like my niece and nephew, I mean, they were at Walmart after she met Fahamu, and she saw this like underwear model that was black. And she's like, Uncle Fahamu. So,
Are you a Calvin Klein model in your spare time?
No.
No.
No, he's not. So I think it's
was
been
wondering.
really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Faham, what's your vision for the Congo? What do you envision seeing things going forward? Maybe your work there, maybe just when I say that, what comes to mind? Your vision of that.
So the big vision in a short is to bring the hope to the hopeless, because I've grown up there. I know the situation and I know how much people are affected, and I know how much people are disappointed, and how much people lost their faith. And our mission and our work that we are doing is to bring that restoration back and to heal the wounded heart and the broken hearts. So that's our main goal, to be in the Congo, because many people are being affected. They have been affected for many years. Since Congo has been in a war since 1996, and it has been going there. Nothing really have been going, and even international community. So many people, they feel like they are just hopeless. So we are just there now to encourage and to give what we can to restore the broken heart and to heal those hearts which are wounded.
What do you think the greatest challenge right now facing the Congo people that you're working with directly?
It's basically financially, because here you can work and you get paid hourly. But in Africa, if you have a job, sometimes you can be they pay you $30 a month, and sometimes less than that. And that is a common situation. And other people in our widow program, we had one widow who was working a day for 50 cents.
50 cents a day?
Yeah, 50 cents
goodness.
a day. And she could work, and it's a hard work the whole day. And that is being really, really hard. Even if you rent a house or something, it's really, really very hard. Yeah, so basically it's the big challenge is financially and spiritually, and other thing is the broken heart, because it has been a lot of things. Imagine all the time, just the life is, there is always something bad happening, and you don't have any hope. So it's just to live in a hopeless life and which all of those I can say it's a big need.
And I think that's what's so powerful, right, about both your guys' stories is you find a need or see a need, and then you go try to fulfill that need by bringing the hope, which, of course, we believe. I think we can safely say the three of us believe is truly Jesus, right? Mm-hmm. And so by bringing that hope to the hopeless in Africa, in the Congo, and doing your small part, right? Because as you said, you're not a head official. You're not, anything like that. You're just a dude, loving people and loving Jesus through that. And I think that's so powerful and very humbling. So Jonni, I got to ask, because I'm dying to know this. I really am. I've been wanting to ask you this for a while. But how does this work in your guys' marriage? Because he's over in the Congo majority of the time, right? He's not here in the U.S.
Yeah.
So how often is he gone? Let's establish that first.
Probably he's here for 3 months, and then he's usually away for 6, and then here for 3, and then away for 6. So since 2016. 17. No, because Aziza was born in 16. Oh. So since 2016, when I was pregnant with our first child, we've kind of been apart more than we've been together. And I think we just have to really realize that, this is what the Lord has called us to do. And there's days where it's tough, where I'm like, I'm done. This is too hard. But we're reminded of, the work we're doing. And, that's more important. And I know I would love to be with him all the time, but I see the impact he's making in the Congo, and I feel like it would be so selfish of me to say, you have to be here for me, when there's people in the Congo that are finding hope, that are finding joy from the work he's doing. So we really have just trusted the Lord, and we've seen how he's provided for us, so we know it's what the Lord wants, because if it wasn't what the Lord wanted, we wouldn't be provided for. And we talk every day when he's over there. The kids get to see him. We video chat. But it is hard. But we know this is what the Lord wants.
Is this what you envisioned when you got married?
No, it's not. I think we just had a hope that we would be over there until Aziza, our daughter, was 5, and then bring her back. But we always had a deal, because my parents were a little bit older, and we had a deal that when they start kind of failing in health, that we would come back. But with certain circumstances that started to happen, it's not safe for me and the kids to be there right now. Right. So we had to come back, but we didn't want to leave all the hard work that we had done and the people that we've touched and that we're helping build up. And so we said, this is a sacrifice we'll make right now. And we know that someday we'll be together for longer periods of time. But as of right now, it's a sacrifice we're willing to make.
Well, in marriages, right, there's always that sacrifice, right? Mm-hmm. There's a fireman. I think of couples in our church that are fireman families, that the husband's fighting fires, not only, in the valley, but, other places where they're gone constantly. And so it does work, obviously, clearly it works. Yeah. And just so everyone knows, a little disclaimer, we're not going to talk about the political climate of the Congo. So I know some people might be like, what's really the pulse of the Congo? That's not our intention today. And we kind of said that from the onset, because that's not the agenda here. The agenda really is to talk to this amazing couple and find out what their story is. So if you're curious about that, you're just going to have to be curious about that because that's not our agenda, right? Fahamu, that's not what you wanted to come. We don't want to come on and talk about that because it doesn't matter. It does, but it doesn't, right?
So we don't want to go into deeper details about the political, right? But you can look it up online and search for the Congo by yourself and you may learn. Or if you have particular questions, you can contact and
we'll put some of your contact info down for sure, but like I said, that's not our intention today by any means. So I just want to speak about that since we hadn't really had an opportunity to do that yet. But how would you guys define your identity? Like if I were to say that, what comes to mind?
So my identity is just in Jesus Christ. Seeing how I grown up, because the war started in 2013, many people were killed and everything. And who I am right now, I just say, is just Jesus. Without God, I couldn't be here. And I went through many things that maybe I could have been killed by that time. But up to now, I just give praise back to God. And yeah, so all who I am and what I have, what I do, it belongs to God and through Jesus.
Yeah. Johnny, how about you? How would you define yourself?
I have to follow him.
Yeah, you do. That
You
was
should have
I
asked
know.
me first.
I kind of looked at you,
Yeah,
and
I
then he
know.
jumped in.
I
Fahamu,
know.
look at you, just jumping in. I love it though. It's
I
great.
agree with Faham.
Yeah.
We're just followers of Christ, trying to do, be his hands and feet here. The sacrifice he made for us is something that we can't repay. So we're just trying to tell everyone the good news. And I mean, I think, I'm a sinner, of course, and I fail, but I just try to be Christ-like every day and show people like, this is the reason I'm the way I am. And the reason that we do what we do is because we love the Lord and he sent his son to die for us. So we're trying to repay him.
So a little background. I joined this home group, right? We're going to give Jacob a little shout out here.
Okay.
So we joined Jacob's home group. So Jacob, if you hear this, we love your home group. And in this home group, another guy in our church named Bob, who's our community pastor here at our church, says to me, he said, hey, Johnny's in your home group. I'm like, yeah, she's great. I really love her energy. I love her smile. I love what she brings to the group. It's very contagious and exciting. And he goes, well, her husband's in the Congo, right? And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, his name's Fahamu. And I'm like, it's what? Say that again. So again, I love your name, but I was still like, I always feel like I'm mispronouncing it also.
I didn't say his name for like the first 3 weeks that I knew him. I go, Yeah, I didn't say it.
Good. I'm glad I'm not the only
You're
one.
not the only one.
Good. But so Bob's telling me, a little bit of your guys' story about how he's in the Congo and he's doing this great work. And, of course we start the podcast and, and he says, you should have him on. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what I would say to him. I'm like almost like nervous. Like, I know you're not a rock star. I know that. Okay. You're not a rock star. You're not this like big time celebrity, Billy Graham evangelist, but I was so nervous to sit with you guys because to me, this is supposed to come as a compliment. So I hope you hear that, but I'm almost feeling like I'm sitting with greatness. I'm sitting with a man who humbly said, God, here I am. Use me. And a woman and a mom and a wife who said, God, here's our family. Use us. We're just, you said it, Johnny, we're just ordinary people. We're not rock stars. We're not this, big, organization behind us giving us money after, dollars after dollars to feed the starving in Africa, to give them water. We're just people who raised our hand and said, God, here I am, use me. And Fahamu, that humbled me to think, here's a man who said, God, I'm going to follow your call, whatever that looks like. And it's just very humbling getting to meet you and to get to know you. And I'm very sad that we're not going to have a ton of time to really get to know you, because I believe you're a very fascinating man, and I'm humbled when I get to sit in your presence. And guys, I'm not trying to elevate him to make him feel better or anything like that. This is my heart to say, who on earth would ever do that?
Yeah.
And why? Sorry, Fahamu.
I feel the same way though sometimes. Like, there are moments when sometimes I question, like, God, why did you pick us? Like, I don't feel like we're doing enough. And then to hear people say, you're doing such good things. And I'm like, I'm not. But I know, like, through Faham and through the people we've met, we are doing good things. And I think that's when it's challenging, is when, you're doing good things, but the enemy's like, no, you're not. You're here in America. What are you doing? For me, like,
ooh, yeah.
I
I
feel
was
like
going to say that's probably a voice you hear often.
that
I would
hits
think.
me a
Yeah,
lot. Like when
yeah.
I'm at work and I'm like, oh, my husband is like serving the widows and like changing hearts, and I'm working with 3-year-old wiping their nose after they sneezed,
Yeah.
But we all have a part that we can play. And so sometimes I have to sit back and be like, okay, this is my part. Like, Faham's the feet over there, but we're a team and we're working together. And there's people all around us who have supported us. So it's been a true blessing. It's a lot of hard work, but a true blessing.
Well, let's talk about that. Faham, what are you doing over there that is impacting so many lives and bringing hope to the hopeless, as you've already alluded to? What's the work that you're doing that's so impactful?
We have several ministry. We have widow ministry that we have now 26. We had 27 widows, but one passed away this year. And we have a sport ministry that we run to help these younger people because they get so affected in different ways, like drugs, or we have in case in our sport ministry, we have kids who went on a killed child soldier. They were soldier when they took them, they were young in army groups, but now we can see the impact that that sport ministry is bringing into the young people, because we use the soccer to reach them out. And for the widows, we started just because it's a long story for the widows that we work with. And some of them and some organization and some people is coming just bring money, the fees to reduce, and we'll build the houses, we'll take your children to Europe, to America, to Australia, and all these promises never been fulfilled. And when we reached there, it was hard to trust us, but we did not promise anything, and we just told them we're gonna just share the word of God and just encouraging you and pray together. And since then, we saw how much God is using us to bring the impact into this lady's wife, these widows' lives. Maybe Jonni can talk on that a little bit. And we have the preschools in the villages where there is no school program. And we started this out because after our wedding, in 2 weeks, we went up in these villages. And it's just in the middle of nowhere, no electricity, no running water, no nothing. You can't go even in a shop or get something. There is no those. It's just trees and little people there. So we went there, and one thing my wife asks me, and I say, what can we do for these kids? Mm-hmm. And they could just take the water bottle, and carry it and put on their faces as sunglasses. So, and she was really touched and said, what can we do? And the best option we came with was to start a preschool at least. And in this preschool, big Christian preschool, they will have to learn about education, how to read, how to write, but they will know more about God. Because if we don't teach them the word of God, someone will teach them the wrong thing. So that's how we came up with that idea to start a preschool. Now we end up having 53 preschools in 16 villages with 1,700 kids who attend this program very up in the villages. And we have a leadership, because to transform the nation, you have to start with the leadership. So, and in that we have been training leaders, pastors, local leaders, and this has been giving us access to reach in many levels of the leadership in our area. And that has been really showing how much we are reaching out. And this year we ran a discipleship training school. And they went even beyond where we have reached. They went really deep in the villages where I've never been before. And it's really in the mountains. It takes like 2 days to climb mountains, and they go to preach the good news there. So now this is bringing me a joy to see how much impact it can bring in a community. As you say earlier, we don't have much. We don't have any, but we have only the Lord. We have Jesus that we go with. And through the little thing that we have, through the little thing that we know, that's what we use to bless others. And blessing someone doesn't need to be a famous, to be a celebrity, or to have what, but it's just within heart. Everything starts within the heart. And then what you have in your heart, that's what you share with other people.
I think that's powerful. what is in your heart, that's all you have.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to share. And that's awesome. I don't know how you follow that. Good luck.
I don't know either. It's funny because like a lot of the things we started, like with the preschools, we
Right.
wanted one preschool. I said, let's do one preschool
Yeah.
and see how it goes. Probably within, a month, there was 20 preschools. And I said, we don't have enough resources. And the villages are like, we want this. Like, we will help you. Because I felt a lot of pressure. Like, we need to make them so good and like
Right.
all this stuff.
Because you're
And-
thinking US eyes, right?
Yes, I'm
Not
thinking.
Congo eyes.
Yes,
Yeah,
and they
okay.
were like, "No, let's just do it." And it's been a true blessing. And even with the widows, that was the very first ministry we started. I mean, we started probably within a month of being there. We started this widows ministry, and it's become like a family. When we left the first time to come here to the States, when we came back, they thought we'd left them, and they threw us this little party. And it was so amazing because they don't have a lot, but they bought us little Fanta drinks and they just sang and danced and said, "Thank you for coming back. You didn't leave us." And so it's been a real pleasure working over there and just seeing even some of the pastors who I thought I knew the Bible. I thought I knew who God was. But like you've opened my eyes to different things and even like cultural things. Like we talked about a servant leadership. They didn't understand that it's okay as a pastor to like clean the chairs or to help out. They just didn't understand that that's what servant leadership is. And as a leader, that's what you should be doing.
Right.
They just didn't get that. So
Right.
I think we're opening their eyes to a lot of new things. And some people can't even read the Bible because they can't read. So sometimes we're the only access they have to a Bible is through our words. So it's been a challenge, but it's been a real pleasure.
So I would imagine that your work in the Congo, obviously there's cost, right? There's money, airfare over there, right? There's time, obviously, because you guys are spending time away from each other, right? Mm-hmm. There's energy. It sounds like, the 2-day journey over the mountains obviously takes some energy to do that. But what else has it really cost you guys? Can you think of something?
What I can say, we could have been doing different things, maybe making our life much comfortable, much better, but we chooses this moment to bless others for what God has blessed us with. And for that, I don't take it as a cost because I enjoy doing what I'm doing or what as our family is doing and bringing, giving someone happiness, bring someone joy, just seeing other people smiling. Because even if when we started our widows, we couldn't see their smiling because of the situation they've been going through. But seeing that brings so much joy into our lives, and seeing that what we are doing is the right thing, and that's how I can say in a little bit. But and a big cost for me personally is being away of my family sometime.
Yeah,
and it's based with the ministry and the situation that I'm not allowed to come in a state all the time, and so have like at least 6 months before I apply, and sometimes it's gets so hard, but that's what I can say, the big costs, and not seeing how daily my kids are growing, and which is really, really hard to me, and as a father, as a husband, and that is a big sacrifice that I'm making. And the other thing on my wife's side, she works so hard, and what she make, most of the time she send it to the mission that we do. And one thing that challenged me before I came, she sent all her money back to the mission in the Congo. I didn't know. And until she told me, I have 2 weeks before I got paid. And I asked, how much do you have? She just told me, I have $150. And that shocked me a lot. And I say, you have 2 kids. How can you survive in that 150? And they say, oh, we will work it out. And that was really hard to me as a father and as a husband to hear that. But yeah.
You have tears in your eyes.
Yeah.
I might have some tears in my eyes coming if you don't. Oh.
I just think that we can't. I think that what's cost me is I can't just sit and do nothing. You know, there's always a need. And I feel like when I'm sitting and not supporting, who's missing out? Like, who's not eating? Who's not getting the gospel? Who's not feeling loved? And so for me, it's really hard because if he's like, oh, we need something, I'm like, okay, yeah, you take it. We'll figure it out here. They can't figure it out over there. Like, we've been blessed because we live with my parents. So we've been very blessed to have support where other people don't have the support that we have. So sometimes it's a balance, and sometimes I get a little ahead of myself. I'm like, yeah, just take it all. We'll figure something out. And the Lord has always provided.
Amen.
I mean, we've had times where our first year of marriage, we had $50 a month that we were getting supported. Somehow we made it through. And I mean, we had like $2. And we're like, okay, Lord, if we have to fast for a week, I guess that's what we're going to do. And then someone out of the blue would be like, hey, I've been praying for you, and we saved a year's worth of our tithes, and we want to give it to you. We're like, oh, thank you, Jesus, because I cannot fast for a week. So we thank you, Jesus.
Right.
So we've had times where, I mean, for me, I've never in the States had to like rely on the Lord for finances. Never. Because I'll just go get a job or get a credit card and take some money out. But when you're in the Congo, you can't have a credit card. You can't have that. You have to have the physical money. So I think for me, it's just, I know when I'm here, I can make it. But the people there cannot make it if we're not helping them. So it's kind of a hard balance sometimes.
And that leads into my next question is, how can people help you guys? I know you guys aren't coming on here to elicit support or to beg for support. That's not what we're on here for either. So really you want to be that clear on that as well. I asked these guys on because obviously, clearly they have an amazing story. And I feel led as your friend to ask this question. How can people help partner with you guys?
So we have a different ministries that we do run, and if God directs someone to partner with us, please be free. If it's by prayer, if by financial, if it's any way that God is revealing personally to each individuals how they can support, we give it to God to guide each one and how they can support.
Is there like an email address or something like that?
We have PayPal.
Okay.
So if you go to PayPal, it's Jonni, Jonni 05 @AOL.com. We have a way if you want a tax deduction. You can contact us and we'll show you how to do that.
I'll get your email and we'll put it in the show notes if that's okay.
Okay, that's totally
perfect.
fine. Yeah. So we have, those are the 2 ways, the best ways. But of course, we always need prayers.
Yeah,
and
that's free. Like you said, I love that.
Yeah.
I love the free way is.
Yeah.
I love
and
that.
we can tell you we feel them when we're over
Good.
there. There have been times where I know for me, I'm a very emotional person and I'm just at the breaking point. And then all of a sudden I just feel like this relief. And I'm like, what is that? And someone will, oh, I've been praying for you. And I'm like, yep, that's what it was. Because we can't do this on our own. Like
Right.
There's no way that just Fahamu and I can do this.
Right.
We need people praying for us and people like even just emotionally being there for us. And they have been. And that's what's gotten us through. It's not by our own will.
That's great. So, my wife, she's amazing. So here's a mention, honey. So as I was prepping for today, I said, babe, what is one question you would like to ask Jonni of Fahamu if you had an opportunity? Because she's never going to come on microphone. That's going to be an act of God. So, guys, maybe pray for that she'll,
We can do that.
So it's out there now. But Fahamu, what is the craziest thing you've ever seen God do that you're like, there's no way that could have been just by human hands or by circumstance, or if you follow my train of thought, what is the miraculous and the marvelous that you've seen God do in Africa that you've personally witnessed?
On a personal level, or
Yeah, I mean, just personal level, or even just something that maybe you witnessed that here in the States that we probably would never understand or never experience, because I think the States is so very dark in a lot of respects, and I think Africa, for the most part, from what you're describing, sounds pretty open to the gospel, and for the most part, maybe there's still some challenges, obviously, but what's something miraculous maybe that you've seen personally, or even maybe heard about, or whatever?
like personally, I have seen a miracle,
Yeah, what was that like?
and I was really sick in 2009, and I had really poisoning in my system.
You had a what?
Poison.
Food poison.
Oh, food poisoning.
Yeah.
Oh, poison.
Oh, poison. Just regular poison,
Just
not food
poison.
poison.
Oh,
Not
just poison.
Someone
Yeah.
poisoned his food.
And it was really, really bad. And that time I was just praying and praying. And then the same 3 days came. There is another person came from very far and from another different province. He came and just say, God sent us to come and pray with you.
You didn't even know this guy.
No,
Okay.
I didn't know even if they exist.
Yeah.
So we prayed for 3 days. And praying, they left. And one night, I was sleeping and a lot of pain, but I just had a voice calling me 3 times. Fahamu. I was alone in my house. Fahamu, Fahamu, 3 times. And when I look and just hear the voice, you are healed. And from that moment, the pain went away. And I started looking who was talking to me. I did not hear that, and I did not take any single medicine from that. And from there, I was completely healed. And that's just my personal miracle that has happened to me.
Yeah.
And in a big part of that is another testimony, like the different which I've been seeing. So here in America, there is a counseling program. There is this, but when I look into people's lives over in Africa, we don't have that. People rely on Jesus' healing, God's healing daily. And all emotions and everything, God do that because God did it personally to me and to my family. I can testify that. And I do see a lot of healing that when you put yourself in God's, give Jesus control of your life will change. But sometimes we run to another human who doesn't have a solution. And we forget God, Jesus, they have a solution. They have everything we need. And that's the difference which I've been seeing, how people are living and how people get healed. And that is a miracle I can say, because we don't have counseling and sit with someone, what is going on, and sit there. No, just the healing itself from God.
That's powerful, man. I mean, I can't even imagine what it would be like to go over there. I would love to go over there and just see firsthand, like you said, get my boots on the ground, and really see, because I just think I take home group, right? I take so much for granted. I take that shower for granted. I take that drink of water from the faucet for granted. I take the car I drive, the job I have, the resources that obviously I've been blessed with, the fact that we can have electricity in this room right now to do this show, right? All of that stuff, I just take it for granted. And it's very humbling to think about that.
Well, that's one thing when we got married, I said, okay, there's a couple things I have to have if I'm over there. And I said, I need a toilet I can sit on. I'm not doing the squatty potty. Like, I have to have a toilet. And I have to have some sort of running water. I said, those are my two. I mean,
Otherwise, it's a deal breaker. Yeah.
and
Okay.
we have a sitting toilet and running water most of the time. Sometimes there's not running water, but enough times that it's okay. But that's what my two conditions. I said, those are the two things that I need.
She's very selfish in that way, isn't she, Fahamu? Very selfish. No, just teasing.
No, she deserves that too.
She deserves it. I love it. So humble you are. Jonni, I want to end with this last question for you, and then we're going to play a game together. So here we go. So the game's fun.
Okay.
But there's not like a trivia game or like
good.
Bible trivia or something like that. But it's just a fun game we like to wrap the show with. So here's my last question for you, Jonni, and I'm curious about this because you grew up in the church. Church kid most of your life, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So is your faith easier here or is it easier over there? Or is it harder here and easier over there? You know, the paradigm I'm trying to look for there.
I think it's easier over there. I feel
And
like
why?
I feel like I lean on God more.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I make time for him. I really have to trust him over there. I feel like I make time for him, and I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like when I'm over there, I'm closer to him than when I'm in the States. I feel like when I'm in the States, I'm like, I have control over this. I can do this. And maybe it's the culture, or just, I'm just busier here because I have to work. I have to do things. Not that doing a missionary is not working, but we had a lot more time where we made time to worship the Lord, and we made time to just hear God and read the Bible. And I feel like here I don't do that as much as needed. And so I feel like over there, I'll just pray for something and I'm like, I know God will do this. But when I'm here, I feel like my faith, I doubt my own faith because I said, oh, well, I can just do that. So.
Well, and Fahamu, I want to give you a question to end with too. What are 3 things people can pray for specifically for you and your family? And not only your family, this family maybe, but your mission and your work over there. What are 3 things people can specifically pray for?
The first one is God's protection. The second one is to do God's will. And the third one, I can for the project or the purpose that every individual are planning and are doing to be fulfilled.
Got it. That's awesome stuff. So, guys, we play a game. It's called Senseless. It's really lame, but we love it. So there's a die inside that cup. So we'll let Jonni roll first. So you rolled a cup.
I just roll it out.
You just roll it out. Yeah, there you go. Don't worry about it. It's okay. So you got a number 5. So your favorite thing to taste?
Oh,
Yeah.
I like sour, like candy.
Sour candy?
I'm like a sugar addict.
Are you?
Yeah.
Really bad sugar addict?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Fahamu is going to roll. I was really like this like big profound sour candy. Okay. You got the same thing? Are you kidding me? You can't.
Do it
You
again.
got to roll
Do it
again.
again.
Yeah. Re-roll. That's what I was
6.
hoping you were going to get.
Oh.
I was really hoping you were going to get a 6. Like I was actually praying like Jesus, give him a 6.
He answers prayers.
I really was. Like I seriously was like praying that. So number 6 is you can have dinner with anyone, dead or alive. Who do you have dinner with? Anyone you want.
To have dinner?
Yeah. Or a meal. I mean, we say dinner, but like maybe it's breakfast, lunch, brunch, mid-meal, I don't know. Late night snack, whatever you want to call it, but a meal with someone dead or alive. Who would it be?
Practically, I can have 2 answer.
You have 2? I normally don't allow 2. I'm just saying. But because it's you, because I love you so much and I love your family so much, I'll allow 2. Okay, so go ahead, 2.
The first
But
one,
you got to get close so we hear this.
The first one, I would have a meal with Jesus. And the second one, I would love to have a meal with my lovely wife.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding
Come
me?
on, it could be anyone. You could get someone to get us a private jet so we could fly back and forth. But thank you, that's sweet.
I don't need the jet.
I don't know.
It would be nice.
That would be nice.
But thank you.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
I'm only second to Jesus.
I mean,
That's pretty good.
hello.
Yep,
That's.
I'll take
I
it.
mean, we got Abraham Lincoln. We got some historical figures. I mean, maybe there's some historical figures in Congo. I can't think of any right now because I'm not versed on, Congo history. But wow. So Jesus and your wife.
That's why I married him.
What's one question you would ask Jesus? You get any, but what's one? You can answer it too, Johnny, if you got one.
I'd be so nervous.
There is too much that Jesus did for us, and that human being, they are not willing to do. And I would ask more, but I may have answer, but maybe I would like more answer, because he left his throne and coming to save me, and who doesn't deserve that much?
Right.
But he decided to come, and maybe couldn't ask questions, but I would like to say thank you for what he has done.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not going to follow
Yeah,
that up.
I don't even know how to follow that.
I'm not going to follow it up.
I don't even know how to follow that.
I would do the same thing. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the problem so many times, right? I'm sure you've probably heard that question through the years, like, who do you want to eat with, right? And then what do you ask them? That's usually the normal follow-up. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I liked what you said there. Just to not even ask a question, but just to say thank you. That's powerful. That's powerful stuff. Well, guys, I want to give you one last final thought. How, first off, I know we said we're not going to ask you more questions, but I really am curious. Like, why did you guys want to do this? I ask from time to time, like, why people want to do this. What was your reason? Were you apprehensive about doing this? Was there any kind of nervousness? Was there anything like that, or why did you guys say yeah?
For me to say yes, my dad kind of did mission work, and my dad is a pastor, and my dad was working with Bible translation. I don't know if I could say that. So for many years, he could get paid $30. And he worked with that company for more than almost 26 years. His last paycheck, the highest paycheck, was $120. But what God did, all of us went to school. We saw God's hand. We saw God's protection. We saw God's mercy. And we saw him practically. And what I saw personally into my life, that made me choose to do the same.
Yeah.
And I think we just love what we do. It's hard, but we love what we do. We just want other people to be encouraged that sometimes God calls you to do crazy things. You might not understand the full scope of it, but just say yes and then hold on and God will provide.
I think that's the key, right? The hold on part. Because it could be. I don't know if you've ever been on an inner tube across the lake.
Yes.
Have you ever done that?
He has not.
You need to do that.
That would
But
be
when
funny.
you come back in the summer, you need to do that. So I think it is so. It's a great metaphor for ministry, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So you get on the water and you have this inflatable inner tube that you sit in. So you're out of the water, but you're holding on with just your arm strength to this inner tube, and you're being dragged in a boat around a lake with this pulley rope. And it's whipping you around, and you're doing circles, and you're jumping over the wakes behind the boat. And I think that's a great description of ministry, really, is because you have no control.
Yep.
You have no control over anything. You're just literally at the mercy of the boat, or in this case, the mercy of God at that point. So.
Yeah.
And if the driver's really mean, which sometimes God not that God's mean, but the driver might whip you really fast and like dump you over into the lake, and then you're into the lake off the tube, which sometimes the lake's really cold. So you get this like wake up call, like, no, I didn't want you over there. I want you over here. So, I just thought of that. That was a great metaphor.
That was really good.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to just take comfort in that. Well, guys, thanks again. We'll end with that little boat story. But, guys, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. And we'll just get on out of here with this. Of course, it's been Other People's Shoes. Wasn't that fascinating? Wasn't that fun? Jonni and Fahamu, they're a great couple. Guys, if you feel led, pray about it. I'll just leave it at that. We'll just say pray about it, as cliche as that may sound. But guys, this again is Other People's Shoes. Of course, I'm your host, Neil Matthews. Thank you so much. Join us next week. And remember, when you walk in other people's shoes, you really do get a different perspective on life. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us on Other People's Shoes. Of course, I'm your host, Neil Matthews. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Thank you, Jonni and Fahamu. Thank you for letting us into your shoes and hearing your story about what you're doing in the Congo. Really appreciate that. Really excited. Guys, go check that out if you feel so led. I want to invite you back here next week. We get to sit down with Susan Holt. Susan is the mother of Grace, and here's a little sneak preview of that.
That's a tough one. Because I would do anything to get a last day, a last hour. I'd do anything to get any more time with her.
Sorry.
Yeah.
She's got some tears in her eyes.
Yeah. That's, you hear the cliches, all those sayings about you should live like it's your last day on earth, and you should treat people the same way. But you do not know that is actually the truth. And so, you love a little harder, you love a little deeper, take care of people around you, and I would just do anything for that last dinner, last minute, and just love.
Powerful episode coming out next Wednesday. Mark your calendar, put a sticky note up, whatever it takes. We want to invite you back for that. We have been giving away a race entry to the Run with Grace race that's coming up. It's a 5K run here in the Valley. So if you'd like to be a part of that, please visit our social medias at OPS Podcast Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just comment right below that. Hashtag it, Kindness Matters, and you're entered, and we will be giving that away. If you would like to see or hear past and present episodes of this show, that can be done at opspodcast.com. That's where past and present episodes live and breathe. And we'd also like to call your attention to the fact that our show is a nonprofit show. So if you'd like to partner in us in the work that we are doing, we of course would graciously accept a gift on your behalf. We have linked that to our PayPal account down below in our show notes. If you have a question, comment, or would like to give us some feedback, that can be done by calling this number and even texting in this number, 203-548-7463. That's 203-548-7463. Of course, like us, tweet us, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under OPS Podcast Show. And remember, when you walk in other people's shoes, you really do get a different perspective on life. On behalf of Garrett and myself, we hope you have a blessed week, and we look forward to sitting down with another guest next Wednesday as we try on other people's shoes.